The room went quiet the moment my dad's laughter echoed across the table. His voice was loud enough for the other diners at the brunch spot to turn and glance at us, but he didn't care. He never cared. "Your job is worthless," he barked, pointing his fork at me like I was some joke. "Quit already and help your sister instead. At least she's doing something with her life." Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us what would you do in this situation. Be honest. Tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. Everyone laughed. My mom, my sister Lauren, even her husband. Their chuckles were sharp, slicing into me with every second they dragged it out. Lauren leaned back in her chair, smirking, raising her glass of orange juice like she'd just won something. "Dad's right," she said, her voice syrupy with fake pity. "You should stop pretending to have a career and just come work under me. You'd finally be useful for once." Her husband added, "Hell, with what you earn, I'm surprised you could even afford the gas to get here. Probably not even enough to cover your share of this brunch, right?" The table erupted again, cruel laughter bouncing between walls that suddenly felt too close. My hands were wrapped so tightly around my coffee mug, I thought it might crack. My face was burning, but I forced myself to keep my expression blank. They were waiting for me to explode, to cry, to storm out. Because that's what I used to do. That's what they expected. Instead, I placed my fork down gently, leaned back in my chair, and looked at my father. "Keep laughing," I whispered. For a moment, silence hung over the table. I could feel their eyes on me, trying to read whether I'd finally snapped. But then, as if nothing had happened, the laughter started again. Louder this time. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just sat there, letting them believe they'd crushed me. But inside, something snapped into place. A strange, cold calm spread through me, like steel locking into my spine. When the brunch was over, I walked out into the sunlight with my head held high. My chest was heavy with humiliation, but beneath it was something sharper, stronger. They thought I was weak. They thought I was worthless. Tomorrow, they'd learn how wrong they were. The very next morning, I walked into the real estate office with my shoulders squared and my heart steady. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't second-guessing myself. I'd been working for this moment for years, quietly stacking every penny while my family mocked me for not being successful enough. "Ms. Walker," the realtor said, sliding a folder across the desk with a bright smile. "It's done. The apartment is officially yours. Here are the keys." I stared down at them. Shiny, silver, glinting, like freedom in the morning light. My fingers curled around them, and for the first time in years, I felt like I wasn't just surviving. I was winning. By noon, I was standing in my own place, my apartment, 12th floor, hardwood floors that gleamed under the sunlight pouring through the massive windows, a balcony that looked out over the city skyline, a kitchen that smelled faintly of fresh paint and new beginnings. I walked from room to room, my heels clicking against the floor, my chest tight in a way that almost made me cry. But I didn't. I just whispered to myself, "They'll see. Tomorrow, they'll see." Because here's the thing. My family had always laughed at me for not being enough. They never knew about the late nights I spent grinding at work, the way I'd skipped vacations, dinners, even birthdays to save money, the sacrifices I made while they mocked me. They never asked, and I never told them. But now I had something real, something undeniable. That evening, my phone buzzed with a message in the family group chat. "Dinner at our place tomorrow, 7 p.m. Be on time. No, please. No. Would you like to come?" Just another demand. Another reminder that in their minds, I was still beneath them. I didn't answer, but in my head, I thought, perfect. The next night, I walked into their house like I'd done 1,000 times before. Except this time, I wasn't carrying shame on my shoulders. I wasn't shrinking myself to fit into their perfect little world. Lauren was already in the middle of bragging about some new business deal. My mom was hanging on to every word like gospel. My dad leaned back in his chair with his glass of wine, grinning proudly at his golden child. When I walked in, Lauren smirked. "Well, look who decided to join us. How's your little job?" She dragged the word out like it was some disgusting thing she didn't want in her mouth. I didn't answer. I just sat down, calm and steady. The night went on as usual. Lauren talked about herself, my mom bragged, my dad chuckled and nodded along. I didn't say a word. Not until my father turned toward me halfway through dinner. "So, Emily," he said, tilting his glass toward me, "still wasting your time at that job? Or have you finally thought about helping your sister out? You'd actually be useful for once." The table laughed. But this time, I didn't swallow it. I didn't shrink. I leaned forward, folded my hands on the table, and smiled. A smile so calm that it made them pause for just a second. "No, Dad," I said evenly. "Actually, I was busy yesterday." Lauren smirked. "Busy doing what? Copying papers? Filing forms?" I let the silence hang for just a moment longer before I said it. "Buying an apartment." The words hit the table like a stone thrown into glass. Shards of silence scattered everywhere. My mom blinked. "An apartment?" Lauren scoffed, waving her hand. "What, like a tiny studio with no windows? Don't exaggerate." I reached into my bag, pulled out the folder, and slid it across the table. The gold-embossed letterhead glowed under the chandelier. "Not a studio, a 2-bedroom, downtown, 12th floor." Lauren grabbed the papers, her eyes darting across them. Her face drained of color as she saw the numbers, the signatures, the reality. This isn't possible. How could you afford this?" I leaned back in my chair, my voice razor sharp. "While you were laughing at me, I was working. While you were mocking my paycheck, I was saving. And while you were dismissing me, I was building. I don't need your approval. I don't need your validation. I don't need anything from you anymore." My father's face turned red, his hand shaking around his wine glass. "You think this makes you better than us? Better than your sister?" I tilted my head, smiling in a way that I knew unnerved him. "Number, it just makes me free. And maybe that's what scares you the most." My mother fumbled with her napkin, her voice trembling. "Emily, don't talk like that. We're family." "Family?" I laughed, low and bitter. "Family doesn't humiliate their daughter in public. Family doesn't strip someone of dignity just to make themselves feel bigger. You don't get to claim me as family now that you see I'm not the failure you painted me as." The room was heavy with silence. No one knew what to say. Lauren sat frozen, her husband pale and quiet. My father's pride cracked like glass under weight he couldn't carry. I stood, smoothing my blazer, calm and unshaken. Dinner was lovely, but I have my own home to go back to now. And just like that, I walked out. I didn't look back. As I stepped into the cool night air, the keys in my hand felt heavier than gold. Behind me, I could still hear the faint echo of silence, the silence of people who finally realized that the girl they mocked, the daughter they laughed at, the sister they tried to crush, had risen above them. And they hated it. But I loved it. For the first time in my life, I wasn't carrying their shame. I was carrying my own power, and I wasn't about to let it go. The morning after I dropped the truth on them, I woke up in my new apartment to the sound of silence. Sunlight streamed through the windows, bouncing across the hardwood floors, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I had to rush out the door to prove something. I didn't feel small. I brewed coffee, leaned on the counter, and watched the city come alive from my balcony. Cars honking, people rushing down below, all of them strangers, but in some way freer than my own family, because strangers had never tried to crush me the way they had. My phone buzzed. A message in the family group chat. "Mom. Emily, can we talk? It's important." I stared at it for a while, sipping my coffee, smiling to myself. Important. Funny how things suddenly became important when they weren't the ones holding all the cards. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, another message. "Lauren, hey sis, maybe we could meet. I could help you manage the apartment. It's a lot to handle on your own. Help me." The same sister who laughed in my face less than 2 days ago wanted to help? I let the message sit unanswered too. By noon, there was a knock at my door. It wasn't gentle. It was sharp, desperate. I opened it to find my mother standing there with a tight smile stretched across her face. "Emily," she said, her tone sweet, rehearsed. "May I come in?" I'd let her in, mostly because I wanted to see how far she'd go. She stepped inside and froze. Her eyes darted around the apartment like she was searching for proof that it was fake. The high ceilings, the balcony, the fresh paint, every detail seemed to stab her. "It's beautiful," she finally whispered. "You sound surprised," I said flatly, crossing my arms. She turned, her smile brittle. "Well, you never told us you were saving for something like this. You never asked for help." Because I knew what the answer would be. Her face flickered, but she pushed forward. Your father, he didn't mean what he said at brunch. He was just joking. I actually laughed at that. A sharp, bitter sound. No, Mom. He meant every word. You all did. And don't bother sugarcoating it now. She flinched, then tried again, clasping her hands like she was praying. Emily, listen. We've made mistakes, sure, but we're family. And family should stick together. Maybe we could have dinner here as a fresh start? Everyone together in your new place. Her words stung because they were laced with hypocrisy. A week ago, the idea of me hosting dinner would have been a joke. Now suddenly she wanted to reconnect. I tilted my head. Number, you want to use my apartment like a trophy, to parade around and pretend you've supported me all along. I won't let you stain these walls with your lies. Her eyes watered. For a second, I almost believed her sadness was real. But then I remembered every time she had sat silent while my father mocked me, every time she'd praised Lauren in the same breath she belittled me. Get out, I said quietly. Her lips trembled, but she didn't argue. She left and the door clicked shut behind her. I stood in the silence, my chest heaving. A part of me wanted to collapse, but another part of me, the part they had built with years of cruelty, was stronger. That evening, another knock came. This time, Lauren. Dressed sharp as ever, her heels echoing on the floor as she walked in without waiting for permission. Wow, she muttered, looking around. You really did it. Guess you weren't lying. I raised an eyebrow. What do you want? She turned to me, her smile tight. Look, Emily, we've had our differences, but this could be a great opportunity for us. Your apartment's in a prime location. If we work together, your place, my business connections, we could build something amazing. Imagine it. Walker Sisters. Unstoppable. The audacity nearly made me laugh. Last week, you told me to quit my job and become your assistant, I said, my voice sharp. And now suddenly I'm your equal? No, Lauren, you don't want a partner. You want control. Her smile cracked and her voice sharpened. Don't be so dramatic. This is a chance for you to finally be someone. Don't throw it away. I stepped closer, my eyes cold. You've spent years treating me like dirt, and now you want me to save your pride. You think I built this just to hand it over to you? Number, not a chance. Her face twisted. You think one apartment makes you better than me? I run a company. I have influence, money, power. Power built on arrogance, I cut in. And if you had real power, you wouldn't be here begging at my door. Her jaw tightened. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. She just hissed, "You'll regret this," and stormed out. By the third day, I should have expected it. But when I opened the door to find my father standing there, I still felt my stomach twist. Emily, he said, his tone gruff, we need to talk. I let him in, though my chest burned with every step he took across my floor. He looked around, his pride clashing with the reality that this wasn't his space. It was mine. I was hard on you, he admitted, voice stiff, but I was trying to toughen you up. The world isn't kind. I didn't want you to be weak. I laughed, short, bitter. No, Dad. You wanted me to be obedient, small, easier to dismiss. His jaw clenched. You've proved me wrong. Fine. But family should stick together. You've got this place now. You should let us use it. Host dinners, gatherings, make it ours. The rage in my chest nearly choked me. Ours? I stepped closer, my voice razor sharp. You mocked me, belittled me, laughed at me like I was worthless. And now you want to claim what I built? Number, this isn't yours. It never will be. His face reddened, his pride collapsing as he whispered, We need you, Emily. I froze. Those words from him felt like a confession he never wanted to make. But it wasn't about love. It was about control. He didn't need me. He needed what I had. I met his eyes, steady, unshaken. Number, you don't need me. You need what I built, and you can't have it. His face twisted with anger, but he had nothing left to say. He stormed out, slamming the door. That night, I sat on my balcony again, the city lights glowing beneath me. My phone buzzed nonstop with missed calls, unread messages, desperate texts from all of them. Be reasonable. Don't throw away your family. Think about us. I set the phone down. I didn't answer. For the first time in my life, they were the ones desperate for me. And I was finally the one holding the power, but I wasn't finished. Not yet. By the fourth day, their desperation had turned into chaos. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Missed calls, voicemails, texts that swung between fake sweetness and sharp threats. We're family, Emily. Don't do this. Then, you're being ungrateful. Then, we just want to talk. I ignored every single one. But that evening, as I walked back up to my apartment building, I saw them. My parents, my sister, even her husband. All of them standing in the lobby, waiting like vultures. The moment they saw me, they rushed over. "Emily!" my mom pleaded, grabbing my arm. "Please, can we go upstairs, just to talk privately?" I pulled away. "This isn't your place. You don't get to demand entry." Lauren stepped forward, her voice shaking with anger she tried to mask as calm. "Stop acting like you're better than us. You bought one apartment. One. That doesn't erase the fact that I run a business, that Dad built everything we have. Don't forget where you came from." I looked at her, unblinking. "Oh, I remember exactly where I came from. And I remember how you made me feel every single day. Small. Useless. A joke. But here's the truth, Lauren. I didn't escape all that just to hand my piece back to you." Her husband muttered, "She's lost it." My father finally stepped in, his jaw tight, voice low. "Emily, enough games. You're making a fool of yourself. We are your family. Open the door. Let's sit down and sort this out like adults." I took a long breath, then looked him dead in the eye. "Like adults? You humiliated me in public, Dad. You laughed in my face and told me to throw away everything I worked for. That wasn't adult. That was cruel." He flinched but tried to recover. "I only wanted you to—" "No." My voice cut through him like a blade. "You only wanted control. And now that I have something you can't touch, you're scared." The lobby went silent, their faces twisted with the same disbelief I'd seen at dinner the night I told them about the apartment. Only now, the disbelief was mixed with something else. Panic. I stepped closer, lowering my voice so only they could hear. "I used to beg for scraps of your approval. Not anymore. I don't need your respect. I don't need your love. And I will never let you step foot inside my home." My mother's lips trembled. Lauren's eyes burned with rage. My father's pride shattered in front of me. And I didn't feel guilty, not one bit. I pressed the elevator button, stepped inside, and turned just before the doors closed. "You told me my job was worthless. You told me I was worthless. But look at you now. You're the ones begging at my door, remember that." The doors slid shut. That night, I sat in my living room, the city lights glowing outside the window. The apartment was quiet, peaceful, mine. For years, I thought my family's approval was the only thing that would ever make me whole. But sitting there, with their words still echoing in my head, I finally understood. I didn't need them. I never did. Their laughter had forged me. Their cruelty had sharpened me. And their rejection had pushed me to build a life they could never take credit for. They thought I would always crawl back. Instead, I rose so high they couldn't reach me. And the best part? They finally knew it.